Welcome to Aristeia 99. Today we're talking about Hannibal. Hannibal is a fantastic support leader kind of character, and we're just going to get into his stats really quick. First off, he has initiative 5, movement of 4, 5 energy, 3 health. Pay attention to his health. People will want to take him out. His defense is a green and a blue, which is excellent because he is definitely a high priority target. His brawl is a blue, not bad, not great. His disengage is an orange, not bad, not great. So the first thing I need to really point out here is that he does not have a switch. He has no switches at all. This might seem like an oversight. This might even make him seem at first blush, oh my gosh, this guy sucks, he doesn't have a switch. It's okay, doesn't have a switch, he doesn't need it. First ability you're going to want to pay attention to is Coordinated Assault. It's 2 energy, it's a very inexpensive attack. It has 1 red die, and has a range of 1 to 4 requiring line of sight. Now, a nice thing here is no matter what, you add an orange die to your attack roll for each of your allies that has line of sight towards your target. This can be potentially awesome with the right positioning. And the better your positioning, not only for Hannibal himself, but for his teammates, means you go from having 1 red to having 1 red and up to 3 oranges. That's really nice. Now that being said, they do have to have line of sight. So if a teammate is dazzled, or there's smoke, or there's anything blocking it, well, they don't have line of sight, he doesn't get the bonus. So Hannibal rewards positioning and working as a team, so you definitely want to do that. Now I should note, again, range 1 to 4. For a ranged character, this is pretty... It's difficult. It is good that he does not have a minimum range, such as Wild Bill or Major Luna. However, at range 4, he's probably closer to the action than you might be comfortable with. Certainly, I would be. But for me, one of the main reasons I take him is actually his green ability, and that is Programmed Strategy. 3 points, kind of expensive, but there's actually a reason for that. So you use that. One of your allies may perform an action with a cost of 2 or less, except for move, without spending any action points. This does not make them the active character. So if you, again, this comes into focusing on Hannibal as a team player, you use programmed activation after you've got someone set up where you want them to do something. Maybe you did it last round, maybe they haven't gone yet, whatever. Maybe an opportunity comes up. But a 2-point action, whether it's an attack, whether it's a buff, whether it's a debuff, any number of things. For instance, Valkyrie has an ability called Frostbite. So in that, the turn before, she might have spent all of her action points getting into position. Then you just program strategy. Okay, you are going to use Frostbite right now. And she's surrounded by enemies, or she's surrounded by a higher priority enemy. Then she gets to roll. She gets to use that attack, use that ability. And the thing with that is she can use her switches. So this is really nice. Now, again, the tactics cards that were, say, Valkyrie specific, during her activation, well, it's not her activation. She's not the active character, so that would limit her tactics selection. But she could still use the ability. With someone, say, like Major Luna, who I'm very fond of, using Suppressive Fire, which has got a wonderful 3-8 line of sight range, you got the opportunity, you take the shot, and you could possibly debuff or injure an opponent, just who's going here to here, and you might not have gotten it either way. Really, the possibilities here are primarily limited by your imagination and your team. So if someone like, say, Musashi, whose attack is 3 and that's all he's got, well, obviously he can't really make use of program strategy, but Gata could. Hexer could. Bachman could. You got some good possibilities there. On top of that, you've got Pointman, his passive orange ability. Your allies may add an orange die to their attack rolls specifically, against enemies in your line of sight. And again, this plays off coordinated assault and the idea that he's the team leader. If you remember Hannibal from the A team, he's even got the cigar. I love it when a plan comes together. This really kind of plays into that. Now, you would not be able to use this for a brawl roll or a disengage roll or a defense roll, but for an attack roll, no, Pointman is fantastic. Now, I should point out that you've noticed that these two amazing abilities, Coordinated Assault and Pointman, both require line of sight. Hannibal is someone that you really do not want to get dazzled. You want to avoid smoke. You want to avoid being put out of position where you can't see anything. So again, there is forethought that goes into there. There is a risk element in some regards, certainly to take advantage of coordinated assault, but also you have to risk opportunity, because if you're keeping him at a distance, which is what I usually do, you are risking who you want to be, your positioning, which is good this round, might not be good a round or two later. Things change. So you kind of have to read the board and think of what your opponent wants to do. So now we're going to get to the tactics cards. First off is going to be code Blitz. Before the critical block and switches of your roll, you can re-roll any quantity of dice from your roll. After the resolution of this effect, shuffle this card into your deck. This is probably one of my favorite cards for Hannibal. It's almost a no-brainer, but not quite. He's got some other amazing cards, but this is one that I have to have a reason not to take. And the reason for that is, obviously, I can re-roll any number of dice, and it goes back into my deck, so I get a chance to roll it, get it again. If I'm using the standards deck, I can go with stick to the plan and possibly just pull it out, and that's fantastic. Now, because of that, though, if someone is running a deck, say with the standard deck or Tao Wu, where you have to discard cards, Code Blitz starts getting a little more tenuous. If they have a no, because the effect is not resolved, it goes into the discard pile. So you do want to be a little protective of it. You can't just throw it out. You want to make sure there's I'm not going to say you want a guaranteed degree of safety, but there is as someone who's played against Hannibal, this is a card that you do want to go away. So it is an excellent card. It is absolutely no bait. If someone's got Tao Wu or ways to make you discard cards, they will very much be hoping to get this card. So do keep that in mind. The next tactics card is code Timeout. During the action step of one of your character's activations, shuffle your discard pile into your deck, then remove this card from the game instead of discarding it. Again, this is no bait, written all over it. If you look at any of the any of the decks, whether it's Standard, TCOM, or Sterling Forge, there'll be cards that you want to get back, but you might not be able to. This is how you would get it back. If Code Blitz goes into the discard pile, you can get it back this way. This is a fantastic card, and in a longer game, so not playing Blitz or anything like that, but say you're playing Assault. Or actually, no, even with if you're drawing a lot of cards because of, say, Blitz, this is a card that would keep you going longer. It helps with your stamina, so to speak. You can only play it once because it's removed as opposed to discarded. But, depending on the scenario, once might be all you need. And because there are ways to get cards back from the discard, it's a tough call whether you want to give this a no, or if you want to let them do it, so at least that way it's out of the game. Fantastic card. Love it. Code Audible. During the action step of one of your character's activations, choose 2 allies that are not the active character. Swap their initiative cards in the running order. Now, when I first saw that, I was kind of like, I don't see the point. Why would you want to do that? But after you've played for a while, it sort of hits you. I wish Senior Massacre could go twice this round. This is how you would do it. If someone is sent to the bench and you've got a spot that the next activation is going to be empty, you don't want that. That you do not want to give a free turn, and this is how you can take care of that. So it's something that I would personally consider of more use as the round progresses, but it's really nice. Is this something that would get node? I think that's going to be kind of depend on the situation. Certainly if there's a real clutch moment coming up and your opponent wants a free round because you got someone in the infirmary, I could see them hitting that with a no. If they don't like where you are and they kind of see oh boy, if Senior Master could go twice this turn and go there, I'm up a creek, you'll probably get node. It'll be situational, but that's really nice. So it's kind of, you do have to decide whether you want to kind of keep it for something that really becomes vital, or you just hold on to it and use it at the first reasonably good opportunity. I like Code Audible, don't use it very often myself, but again, every team's different, every scenario is different, and just because someone doesn't use it very often, like I don't, doesn't mean that it's not a good card. It just, my priorities are different at that time. And that's one thing I should make mention with all this is, your mileage will vary. What you can do and get away with one opponent you can't do with another, or vice versa. Play, experiment, try and figure these things out. Figure out how you like to play, and figure out how you can use these. So I'm just some guy on the internet, Finally, Code Dive. Now, this is important. This is only for Hannibal. During the action step of Hannibal's activation, one of your allies may perform an action, except for move, without spending any action points. This does not make them the active character. The difference between this and, say, program strategy is there's not a point cost associated with it. So it could be something that costs 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. I don't think there's anything that costs 4 or 5 points. Maybe there will be one day. This could be used with that. And this is where he works with heavy hitters. If you're going to look at Major Luna and you want her to actually attack with called shots, if you want to use Musashi and have him slicing and dicing everyone that comes his way, if you want to use Valkyrie and charge of the Valkyrie. Admittedly, I wouldn't in that situation necessarily, just because you may not have the movement bonus, maybe you've got the mobilization bonus. You get the idea. This is for the higher cost attacks. Wild Bill would be another great one. And the higher cost abilities that characters might have. So Cosmo and Meteoric Charge, for instance. So this is a card that you would definitely want to fish back out if you can. With this getting no, well, if you're spending the card, this one, again, this is one of the, I think, the tricks with Hannibal is because everything he has just is really, everything he has is really good and is worth giving a no to. But it's not necessarily because it makes him better. If I'm using Code Blitz and re-rolling all these dice, it's not because I'm attacking with Hannibal necessarily, it's because I'm using someone else. If I'm rearranging the order, Hannibal could be in the infirmary, but I can still rearrange the order of the team lineup for that round in the middle of the game. What makes him so interesting, so dangerous, and just really such a easy addition for many teams in a fair number of scenarios is the fact is he just really makes your team better. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. And that's frankly what I love about him. He is one of the main reasons I recommend Soldiers of Fortune as the first expansion for new players. It's because he can help you think about teamwork a little bit more, because to get the most out of him, you have to be thinking about teamwork and how the orders go and what can I do. And, occasionally you're going to be there, oh, I wish I could do this right now, because so-and-so's in that position, they already went or whatever. He lets you do that. And with that, you start looking for opportunities more often. And you start thinking a little, maybe one more step ahead than you were before. And that's really what I like Hannibal for. Hannibal's a great character. He's a fantastic character. You should absolutely try him out. Not necessarily just because he's so awesome, but because I think he has a tremendous value to helping learn the game. So, anyhow, that's it for Aristeia 99 this week. We're going to be covering Lakshmi next week from Soldiers of Fortune as well. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, leave a comment, please, by all means. And we'll talk to you next time.